hope everyone celebrates for them, whether they just agree with the monarchy or not. For her especially, where it's going to be the most difficult life. One thing in the world, if I could, get rid of, is that negativity in the British press and that hatefulness, that horrible, nastiness that we have pervades our British media.
Welcome back to Monarchy Moments channel. Today, we're stepping into a story that's been whispered about for decades, a tale blending the charm of a princess, the truth bombs of a rock legend, and the messy evolution of the Windsor dynasty. What if I told you that Elton John, the Rocket Man himself, has finally spoken out in a way that completely flips what we thought we knew about Princess Diana's final wishes? This isn't just about honouring Diana's legacy. It's about exposing hidden truths that shine a shocking light on the choices her sons and their partners made after her passing. And trust me, once you hear Elton's side, you'll never look at the royal family the same again. So, before we get into the real tea, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. You don't want to miss when these royal bombshells drop. Now, let's rewind to the glitzy but chaotic 1980s and 1990s when Elton John and Princess Diana's friendship first set tongues wagging. Their connection wasn't some shallow celebrity fling. It was raw, real, and impossible to ignore. Elton, with his outrageous style and soul-cutting ballads, found a twin flame in Diana, the people's princess, who shattered the cold walls of royal tradition with nothing but kindness and courage. Their story began at a Windsor Castle ball in 1981, a night dripping in diamonds, tiaras, and scandalous whispers. Diana poured her heart out to Elton, confessing the crushing weight of life inside the royal cage, the media's brutal spotlight, the endless battles behind palace walls, and her deepest hopes for William and Harry. And in those moments, Elton wasn't just a friend. He became her lifeline, the one person who gave her laughter when the world was tearing her apart. In his memoir, he admitted how they clicked instantly, swapping secrets and sharing their hatred for the ruthless tabloids that stalked their every move.
I put the record straight. She went and did the Oprah show and kind of badmouthed me. And in fact, I wanted to put the record straight on what really happened.
But this bond wasn't just friendship. It was power. It blurred the line between pop royalty and the actual crown, dragging palace intrigue straight into the pop culture spotlight. Then came 1997, the tragedy that shattered the world. Millions sobbed as Elton stood at Diana's funeral, singing his reworked Candle in the Wind, a tribute that didn't just honour her, but turned into one of the biggest charity-driven anthems in history. What the cameras didn't show was Elton stepping into a deeper role, privately vowing to protect William and Harry, seeing them as Diana's living legacy. And while we thought it ended there, Elton was quietly holding on to pieces of Diana's story, pieces that years later would shake the foundations of the monarchy itself. Because Elton didn't just keep her memory alive, he guarded her secrets. And in recent candid interviews, he's begun peeling back the curtain, revealing parts of Diana's final wishes that were locked away in her will and private letters. These weren't cold legal notes. People close to Elton, those in his most trusted circle, have revealed something Diana stressed again and again. William's destiny wasn't just about wearing the crown. It was about carrying her spirit into the future. She made sure her estate didn't just hand over money, but powerful symbols of her influence, tangible reminders of her grace and her fight against a system that often tried to silence her. And nothing spoke louder than her jewellery collection, pieces drenched in history, emotion, and meaning. Elton has hinted that Diana never saw these gems as simple decorations. To her, they were weapons of legacy, treasures meant to empower the woman who would one day stand by William's side. During a 2023 AIDS Foundation event, Elton dropped a chilling reflection, saying Diana would have been thrilled with choices that honoured her humanitarian heart. Insiders claim that now, as Catherine inches closer to her reign as Queen Consort, those privileges Diana laid out in her estate are surfacing. Iconic pieces like her sapphire earrings and brooches, the very same jewels Diana wore during defining moments of her life. These weren't meant to sparkle on random occasions. They were designed to appear at milestones, coronations, state ceremonies, global stages. For months, royal watchers have been buzzing about Catherine flashing Diana's sapphire ring, but Elton's comments push it further. suggesting Diana actually foresaw William finding a partner who mirrored her quiet strength and unshakable sense of duty. Elton wasn't just a bystander, he was there for both royal weddings. In 2011, he proudly watched William marry Catherine, and in 2018, he not only attended Harry and Meghan's big day, but even took the stage to perform. At the time, he fiercely defended the couple when critics blasted them for preaching about the planet while flying around in private jets. Back then, Elton saw Harry as Diana's rebellious flame reborn, the prince charging into causes like mental health and AIDS awareness, the same battles that once defined his mother. He even told People magazine that watching Harry fall head over heels reminded him of Diana's unstoppable passion. But fast forward to recent years, and the fairy tale started to crack. By 2023, whispers from biographers and palace insiders painted a very different picture. Elton's own memoir and interviews hinted at tension bubbling beneath the surface, especially after Spare dropped. Harry's tell-all that exposed rifts with the royals. Sources say Elton bristled at Harry's obsession with media spectacle, feeling it strayed too far from Diana's true values of unity and quiet strength. That's when the shift happened. Elton's loyalty began leaning toward William and Catherine. In 2024, he openly praised their grounded style, telling the Daily Mail that they perfectly balanced duty and family exactly as Diana had always dreamed. And he didn't stop at words. Elton threw his weight behind William's Earthshot Prize, a green initiative echoing Diana's own environmental passion. Elton saw the brothers' rift with his own eyes, and word spread fast on royal forums and private insider chats that he grew increasingly suspicious of how Diana's story was being spun for personal agendas. One insider put it bluntly, Elton's loyalty isn't with petty drama, it's with the survival of the crown. And in William and Catherine, he sees the truest realization of Diana's dream, a monarchy that blends compassion with stability. When you peel back Elton's revelations, a pattern emerges. Diana had mapped out William's future in ways far more calculated than anyone realized. In interviews, including a telling 2018 sit-down with ABC News, Elton remembered how Diana lit up when she imagined her sons finding partners who would strengthen, not sabotage, their royal duties. That vision tied directly into her will, executed after her tragic passing in 1997. While William and Harry both inherited a slice of her £12.9 million estate, Diana's personal treasures, the gowns, the tiaras, the priceless jewels, were earmarked with chilling precision. Elton has hinted that these weren't trinkets of vanity, they were coded messages of power. Pieces like the pearl earrings Catherine now wears at high-profile state events were never just accessories. They were tokens of legitimacy, meant to surface when her role as queen drew near. And it doesn't stop at jewellery. Sources close to the palace claim that with Charles's fragile health, Catherine is on the brink of gaining fuller access to Diana's secret archive. Private letters laced with advice on how to survive palace politics without being crushed by it. In a 2025 reflection shared through his foundation, Elton stressed that Diana wanted William's wife to inherit not only her diamonds, but her voice in humanitarian work, a voice unchained from the isolation that once destroyed her. Catherine's focus on children's hospices and mental health isn't just her initiative, it's Diana's unfinished mission carried forward. Royal analysts even note the contrast. Camilla clawed her way through without any maternal blessing, while Catherine stands cloaked in Diana's posthumous approval. This isn't just inheritance, it's a torch being passed, making sure Diana's fire still burns through the next reign. And as Elton threw his weight firmly behind William and Catherine, his outlook on Meghan turned into a striking counterpoint. At first, he was charmed. In 2019, he even opened the doors of his French villa to Harry and Meghan, praising their star power right after the wedding. But by the time Spare dropped in 2023, the fairy tale had soured. Harry wrote of a falling out over Elton's book being serialized in a tabloid, but palace insiders whisper the cracks ran much deeper. Online forums and royal sleuths point to messy whispers of plagiarism scandals surrounding Meghan's doomed Netflix project Pearl, which, awkwardly, was originally linked to Elton's husband, David Furnish. The failure of that project allegedly left behind a bitter aftertaste, and Elton, fiercely protective of Diana's memory, wasn't about to let her legacy get dragged into Hollywood drama. Sources close to him claim Elton felt Meghan's moves echoed Diana's constant media battles, but without Diana's raw authenticity. Instead of reforming the institution, Elton began to see Meghan as someone trying to tear it apart. Reports in 2024 painted a clear picture. Meghan's endless stream of podcasts, memoirs, and branded ventures struck Elton as carefully calculated disruptions, not genuine efforts at change. And here's the kicker: Elton, once a defender who publicly fought media injustice alongside Meghan, quietly flipped. Biographers like Tom Bower even noted that his legendary Oscar party suddenly had no seat for Meghan and Harry, a symbolic snub that spoke louder than words. In a bombshell 2025 interview with the Daily Mail, Elton laid it out plain. William and Catherine are evolving the monarchy exactly how Diana would have wanted, while others, he hinted, are walking destructive paths. And when Elton speaks, it hits different. His words come drenched in decades of loyalty to Diana, the friend he swore to honour. He didn't hold back either. Elton's subtle but sharp critique framed Meghan's ventures, from tell-all podcasts to glossy commercial brands like American Riviera Orchard, as calculated moves that chip away at the very foundations of the crown. Sources close to him, quoted by GB News, even spilled that he'd grown irritated by the Sussexes' endless complaints, including their diva-like gripes during their 2019 stay at his niece's villa in France. Add Harry's memoir Spare dragging up their private fallout, and the bond was shattered beyond repair. The shift was undeniable. Elton went from flying them around on private jets to giving them nothing but silence. And that silence is deafening because his support for William and Catherine isn't casual. It's strategic. He admires their family-first approach, the way they raise George, Charlotte, and Louis with hands-on parenting that mirrors Diana's mission to keep her boys grounded. Even their causes line up with Diana's blueprint. Elton threw himself behind William's Earthshot Prize, a massive green project echoing Diana's early fight for the planet. And at a 2024 charity gala, Elton couldn't stop praising Catherine, calling her a modern beacon, applauding her resilience against personal health struggles and the never-ending media circus. To him, Catherine carries Diana's strength, but with a steadier hand that could actually hold the monarchy together. This allegiance isn't quiet. It's Elton John planting his flag in public. His foundation now works hand-in-hand with William's Homewards project to fight homelessness, a cause Diana herself held close to her heart. To Elton, William and Catherine represent progress without destruction, a monarchy that modernizes without tearing itself apart. And that, in his eyes, stands in stark contrast to Meghan, whose star power he believes disguises ambitions that could destabilize the entire family. One close friend of Elton put it bluntly. He thinks Meghan's shine masks a hunger for control, something Diana never wanted. Diana fought to bring people together, not pull them further apart, and Elton's affirmations are his way of protecting William's reign from outside storms, while ensuring Catherine carries forward Diana's torch of empathy and strength. This isn't gossip, it's conviction, built on decades of watching the royals stumble, rise, and repeat. Elton's words expose a seismic shift in the monarchy's path, one where Catherine is positioned not as a consort in the background, but as Diana's true heir. With Charles's health hanging in uncertainty, the timing couldn't be louder. Catherine is stepping into her moment, armed with Diana's privileges, the jewels, the archives, the letters filled with wisdom, and the unspoken approval that only Elton dared to voice. These aren't just pretty ornaments. They're Diana's coded blueprint for survival. Sapphire earrings worn on the world stage, personal notes guiding Catherine through palace traps, and a quiet nod that her humanitarian focus on mental health and childhood care is the living continuation of Diana's dream. Elton's voice doesn't just echo, it amplifies. His backing frames William and Catherine as the true architects of a monarchy evolving with the times, yet refusing to lose its core. Their projects, from William's Earthshot Prize to Catherine's Centre for Early Childhood, transform Diana's passion for social good into structured, global platforms that grab headlines and pull in allies from philanthropists to world leaders. These aren't just royal hobbies. They're power plays strengthening the monarchy's soft influence across the globe. And here's where the contrast turns brutal. While William and Catherine build, Elton paints Meghan's ventures as pure disruption, brand launches, Netflix pitches, podcasts, and that glossy American Riviera orchard. Sources cited in The Sun in 2025 claimed palace insiders see Meghan's moves as blatant attempts to commercialize the crown's mystique, a strategy Elton believes Diana would have despised as divisive. This clash reshapes the royal narrative worldwide. On one side, William and Catherine as relatable yet regal, parents protecting their family's privacy while pouring energy into purpose-driven causes. On the other side, Meghan positioned as a celebrity force, spinning the monarchy into a marketing tool. Even their money choices reflect the divide. William and Catherine quietly funding projects like Catherine's Shaping Us campaign with private resources, just as they privately renovated their home, a gesture Elton sees as real accountability in an age demanding transparency. And Elton's pivot from neutral friend to outspoken advocate carries weight far beyond Buckingham Palace. Hollywood itself has felt the sting. His snubs at elite gatherings, including the 2024 Oscars, cooled Meghan's once red-hot network. Biographers like Angela Levin call this the tipping point, the moment when the monarchy started regaining control of its story, thanks to trusted voices like Elton's, who still carry Diana's seal of authenticity. The ripple effects stretch far beyond palace walls as William edges closer to kingship. Diana's carefully laid privileges for Catherine, both glittering heirlooms and deeper philosophies, now fortify their bond, making sure the monarchy bends under pressure but never snaps in the face of modern scrutiny. Elton's loyalty, rooted in decades of friendship with Diana, validates this path as one of true stability and evolution. Meanwhile, the Sussexes' journey, marked by what Elton bluntly sees as destabilizing ambition, risks sliding into irrelevance. Analysts from GB News to Reddit threads describe their moves as drifting further away from royal purpose and closer to self-promotion. And Elton's stance makes one thing crystal clear: this isn't just another royal feud, it's a battle for the monarchy's very soul. Diana's legacy, channeled through Catherine, promises a reign that honours the past while forging a future where humanity and duty actually coexist. The dawn of this new royal chapter, with Elton as its loudest herald, signals a crown that can thrive by staying grounded and authentic, just as Diana once dreamed. His revelations remind the world that her story still burns as one of the monarchy's most powerful forces, weaving through every decision William and Catherine now make. Her final wishes weren't idle words. They were a blueprint, from sapphire jewels gleaming with history to private letters whispering survival tactics. Diana armed her son's future queen with tools for resilience, and today those tools are shaping Catherine into more than a consort, into the very embodiment of Diana's vision. With Elton amplifying that narrative, Catherine now stands as a figure of grace, grit, and quiet power, poised to redefine queenship for a world that demands truth over pageantry and authenticity over empty spectacle. Elton's shift from neutral mentor to full-throated champion of William and Catherine speaks volumes about where the monarchy is headed. His subtle but sharp critique of attempts to destabilize the crown, so often linked to Meghan's ventures, reflects a deeper mission: preserving Diana's dream of unity that once felt impossible. And remember, this isn't just some celebrity opinion. This is Elton John, the cultural titan who turned Candle in the Wind into Diana's eternal anthem. His public backing of William and Catherine's family-first approach, their commitment to mental health, early childhood, and environmental causes, signals a monarchy adapting to the times while refusing to lose its roots. Their style, built on Diana's compassion but sharpened with modern pragmatism, stands in stark contrast to paths that fracture the royal narrative. Catherine's embrace of Diana's jewels, archives, and symbolic privileges as she edges closer to queenship isn't just ceremony, it's a bridge between eras, proof that Diana's hand is still guiding the throne. Elton's journey mirrors the public's own yearning for a crown that survives through empathy, not division. His revelations remind us that Diana's foresight wasn't wishful thinking. It was a roadmap for her son and his wife to build a monarchy that balances duty with humanity in an age demanding authenticity. So now, the real question: how do you see this saga? Is Catherine stepping into her role as Diana's spiritual heir, ushering in a monarchy reborn through compassion and progress? Or do Elton's sharp words expose rifts that could shake the institution to its core? Maybe you see Meghan differently. Not destructive, but reformative in ways the Crown has resisted for centuries. Your voice matters here. Drop your thoughts in the comments below because we're reading every single one. Do you see this as the turning point where the monarchy finally becomes relatable, or a risky gamble that breaks with tradition? Share this story with fellow royal watchers, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss these deep dives into the palace's most shocking revelations.